Welcome to the Pharmacy Residency Podcast, a member of the Pharmacy Podcast Network. I'm Tony Guerra, pharmacist, publisher, and professional editor, bringing you interviews and advice on succeeding in your residency journey. You can sign up for the email list at pharmacyresidencypodcast.com to get your free LOI template or get editing help working one-on-one with me at residency.teachable.com. Let's get started with the show. Hey, welcome to the Pharmacy Residency Podcast, member of the Pharmacy Podcast Network. I want to talk to you real quick about late recommendations, what to do, how you could avoid this, and then if you do end up in phase 2, how you can really help your recommenders write a great recommendation. But I'll show you what I did and how I do it to make it a little bit easier for them. So first things first, to get you to the template or email template, you just go to Extreme LOI Makeover Course, then to the course curriculum. It's just the second one down, free general resources, late transcript and recommendation email template. And then the late recommendation template is here. Dr. Program Director, my name is blank from the University of Potomac River College of Pharmacy. I understand that I have a recommendation outstanding to your program, and I wanted to update you on this issue. I initially requested the recommendation on October 15, 2022. Life circumstances made it difficult for my recommender to meet the deadline. Again, it's critical that you not slam the recommender. I have been in touch with them, and they indicated they would forward that recommendation on January 2nd, 2023. I want to apologize for this inconvenience. Sincerely, residency applicant. One other thing, I would put your name in the title. So I would put something like Tony Guerra, residency applicant 2023. And maybe I would even put, my college, which would have been UMB, University of Maryland, Baltimore, residency applicant 2023, and then recommendation or something like that. Recommendation letter, something like that. But what you want to make sure is that it's really easy for them to find in their inbox, because they are getting flooded right now, the residency program coordinators and the RPDs. But let's take a little look at Reddit, and there was a great little post on these late recommendations there. Okay, there's actually 3 of these that I want to bring to your attention. First one is LOR follow-up with Jazz-like-fish-2380. I asked one of my clinical preceptors for LOR for forecast about 2 weeks ago. She still hasn't uploaded yet. How do I email her without sounding pushy? She's usually busy. Don't want to leave it up to her in chance she forgot. I don't want an email during a holiday week. So how should I ask her without sounding too pushy or anything? So one person said, you just have to do it. Just be polite. And then someone actually created a template as well and said, I'm one of those preceptors that needed reminding this year. So some preceptors will actually be like, oh, thanks, I did forget. I have many, many students that I have to do this for, and I appreciate you letting me know. But this is what they said. Dear blank, I hope this email finds you well. I'm following up with all my preceptors to see how the letter recommendation process is going with forecasts. It's little h. Please do not hesitate to reach out to me if you would like any more information. Any space more information about each of the programs I've applied to, or if there is any other way I can help with the process. As a reminder, my first application deadline is blank. Again, I want to thank you for taking the time to write a letter for me. I know things get busy at the end of the year, and I appreciate you taking the time to support me, my future career plans. Happy holidays to you and yours sincerely. And this one got a number of upvotes. The big thing is, yes, be polite, and you do want to talk to them about that. The big thing is the deadlines. But the easiest way to make sure that you get a good recommendation and make it easy for them is to have already written it for them. So here's the recommendation form, and it's really not hard to say, hey, this is what I feel my strengths were. It was oral communication skills, where I did blank, and you provide some comments. And I felt that I was really I really had a good ability to organize and manage time using those exact words when I did this, and this, all in the same week. And then I felt I worked really well with my peers and communicated effectively. And maybe there were other APPE students there at the same time. So there's nothing wrong with saying these exact things, especially if you have comments from your grade in whatever e-value or however your pharmacy school does it. But if you can marry the characteristic evaluated with something you've done, with something they actually said in their recommendation, it makes it a lot easier. And that you need 3 fields. For some residency sites, you actually need more, but making sure to do those. Then this they can pretty much do, but you can also talk about how you gained autonomy through the rotation. That's really what this first narrative comment is asking. Obviously, you can't compare them to the peer students or other colleges, but you can say how you took on more patients, you asked for more work, you did more things. You can provide the 2 strengths that you felt you had, or as you talked during your recommendation, not during your recommendation, but during your evaluation, what were the 2 strengths that you had? And then what were the areas for improvement? And most importantly, reminding them how you were working toward improving that during the rotation, but you can also add how you used that advice for a future APPE. It's really, really a great one to be able to kind of create that continuity, more of a longitudinal experience. And then any other characteristics, nothing you can really do there. But the fit to the particular program, I do ask my students to send me those particular programs and what's unique about them, and basically what are the trade-offs. So with one program, maybe you have a teaching certificate, and this other program you don't, but you have 2 AmCare and 2 internal med rotations, which you really wanted. The fact that I would even be told about those things or even knew about those things would be really, really impressive to the program. Well, somewhat impressive. And then making sure that you get highly recommend. But honestly, if I'm reading this stuff, I would first see if they've got a particular fit to my program, highly recommend, then I would come back up here and look at these guys. But what you can do is you can say all of these things in the framework of the words they actually used when they evaluated you during the APPE. And I make sure to do midterm and final evaluation so that I have a significant amount of writing. Makes it a lot easier for me to do this. This next Reddit post said, let's see, so Erica S96, hi everybody, very stressed PGY1 candidate here. One of the residency programs I'm applying to requires a previous pharmacy employer as one of my LOR writers. I reached out about 2 weeks ago and haven't heard back. I've only worked in one pharmacy, so not sure what to do. Can't ask them in person because I quit over a year ago due to scheduling conflicts, but I worked there for over a year, no bridges burned, etc. Any ideas? Should I email the RPD? I think that really when you're talking about asking something like that, that's really tough because you are talking about a past employer and they have no obligation to you whatsoever. Well, not that anybody really does, but that would be really tough. And just explaining that I've reached out, I've tried to do that. Would it be okay if I get a recommendation from and then, provide some kind of alternative? What they really want to do is just make sure that you are able to do the things like staffing and things like that are part of the residency. And then the last one, individual comments for LOR by quack _ doctor. This one was about 9 hours ago. And this one was talking about individualized LOR, and the preceptor said, do you want individualized letter of recommendation specific for the program? And that's what I do. I prefer that because I know the person and I can say really nice things about them very specifically to the program. So if I know that it's an ambulatory care program, I know what to say there. If I know that it's acute care, I know what to say there. If it's an AMC versus a rural, I know the person really well, and I'm a writer, so I would want to have something like that. Throughout this, I'll save you the reading of it, but basically you're saying general's okay, but it would be nice if the preceptor's offering, you really should take advantage of it. Okay. So kind of coming back to this whole idea that you kind of have to beg for this letter of recommendation follow-up. It's a pet peeve of mine. If the student is good enough to get a recommendation, in some way or another, they probably saved this preceptor a lot of time. And I think that waiting till the last minute is unreasonable. I think that if they saved you many, many, many hours of work, then you really should kind of get on the horse and get these recommendations done. But again, you don't have control over it. What you do have control over is the communication that you have. And what you want to do is make sure that that communication keeps you in the mix. Because if you don't communicate this to the program and that deadline passes and you just don't have the right number of recommendations, it could be over. But if you had communicated before, that's a lot easier to say, well, I did send you an email about it, and I really, really do want it to apply to your residency, and so forth and so on. All right, so need my one-on-one help, you know where to get me, residency.teachable.com. But again, letters of recommendation. I get it, it's tough to ask for these things, but really, this year, ASHP decided that we are not going to have a standard single day where it's due for everybody, that we're going to continue with the way it was, and this is kind of how you have to go. So grab the template at residency.teachable.com. Thanks for listening to the Pharmacy Residency Podcast, a member of the Pharmacy Podcast Network. You might also like to check out our available residency audiobooks at pharmacyresidencypodcast.com/books, where you can get your first book free if you've never been on Audible before, or work one-on-one with me as a professional editor at residency.teachable.com. Feel free to send an invite to connect with me, Tony PharmD, on LinkedIn, or email me at tonythepharmacist@gmail.com with questions. Music was by Policy.